Hello everyone and welcome back. In the previous video, we learned how to create an Express server and how to define router using different HTTP methods like get, post, put, and delete. But have you ever wondered what actually happens when someone visits your website or sends data to your API? How does the server know what the client wants? How does it receive data? And how does it send data back? Everything comes down to two very important concepts: the requests and the response. In this video, we are going to understand how communication between the client and the server works. We will also learn about headers, body, query, parameters, route parameters, and HTTP status codes. These are concepts you will use every single day as a backend developer, so it's important to understand them before we continue building more advanced APIs. So let's get started. What's an HTTP request? Whenever a client wants something from the server, it sends an HTTP request. The clients could be a web browser, a mobile application, Postman, another server, or even JavaScript running in the browser. For example, when you open Google and search for something, your browser sends a request to Google servers. When you look into Instagram, your app sends a request. When your React application loads products from your backend, it sends a request. Every interaction starts with a request. Think of it like ordering food in a restaurant. You tell the waiter exactly what you want. Your order is the request. The kitchen is the server. What's an HTTP responses? After the server receives the request, it processes it, then it sends something back. The returned information is called the response. The response might contain data, an error message, a success message, a file, an image, or simply confirmation that everything worked. So the communication always looks like this: client sends requests, server processes it, server returns response. That's the entire communication cycle. Let's see it in Express. Let's create a simple router. In the previous video, we created these routers. For example, we will work in this router. Okay, here we have two important objects: requests and response. Requests and response. The request object, the request object contains everything the client sends. But the rest object is what we use to send something back. You can think of them like this: request comes in, response goes out. Every Express router receives these two objects. Exploring the request object. The request object contains lots of useful information. For example, URL, HTTP method, headers, query parameters, route parameters, request body, cookies, IP address. Everything the client sends is stored inside this object. The requests. The requests. Let's print it. We can print it like that. And we will save the file, and we will write node and tx.js and enter. Server is running on port 3000 local hosts. Local hosts 3000 slash hello world. And this is the requests. Console.log requests. This is the requests. You will notice the console prints a huge object. That's because Express provides lots of information about the requests. Usually, we only access the properties we actually need. This is a huge request. Server is running on board. This is the requests. Headers. Let's talk about headers. Headers contain additional information about the request. They don't contain the actual data. Instead, they describe the request. Some common headers are content type, authorization, accept, user agent, host. For example, if the client sends JSON data, it usually sends this header. Content type application JSON. This tells the server I am sending JSON. If you are using JAWS authentication data in the code, you will also send something like authorization valid token. The server reads this header to verify the user identity. In Express, accessing headers is very easy. Like this, we can access headers. Like this, consulted log request headers. And we will save the file, Ctrl C, and we will run the file and refresh, and we will see the headers. There is the headers for these routers. You will see many headers automatically included. Request body. Now let's talk about the request body. The body contains the actual data sent by the client. Imagine you are creating a new user. The client might send name June, email June, example.com like this. Maybe client send JSON like this. This information is placed inside the request body. To access it in Express, we use request.body. We will delete this, and we will use request.body. But before that, Express needs to understand JSON. That's why we added this malware earlier. Update use express.json. This is malware. Update use express.json. To access it in Express, we must use this malware. Now we will use request like this console.log request.body, and we will save the file and Ctrl C and run index.js. Okay, now it's undefined because there is nothing data in the page. There is nothing data. Okay, query parameters. Now let's learn query parameters. Sometimes we don't want to send data inside the body. Instead, we include small values directly in the URL. For example, a product page equal to. Here page is called a query parameters. Another example, product page equal to limit 10. Now we have two query parameters, page and limit. In Express, they are available through request.query. Example, like this. Okay, we will save it. And we will run the server, we will visit that, and he sent request to the query, and in the terminal he sent the server is running object null property page to limit 10. He consulted log request to the query. Query is that in the URL. Okay. Route parameters. Now let's look at route parameters. Sometimes we need to identify a specific routers. For example, a specific user. Instead of writing user 1, user 2, user 3, we write user ID. The colon tells express this part is dynamic. Now if someone visits user 15, the value 15 becomes the parameters. You can access it using request.parameters. Example, app.get like this. Like this. App.get user ID console.log request.parameters list.send request.parameters. If we open users 25 like this output becomes like this. We will save it and control C and we will open this URL users 25 and ID 25, and in the terminal object null property ID 25, because we will write now app.get users ID 25 and users 25 console.log request.parameters and rest.send request.parameters like this. Rest.send. Okay, now let's talk about studious codes. Every response includes a studious codes. This number tells the client what happened. Here are the most common ones. 200 everything worked successfully. 201 a new resource was created. For example, creating a new user 201 he will give me. Tamam. 400 is bad requests. Usually the client sent invalid data. 401 like this. 401 means another side. The user isn't logged in. 403 like this. 403 is forbidden. The user is logged in but doesn't have permission. يعني he doesn't have permission like admin. He will if he is a user he will give you 403 and 404 is resources not found, and 500 is internal server error. Something unexpected happened on the server in Express. Sending studious code is easy. He will give you 500. Okay. Today we learned one of the most important topics in backend development. We learned what an HTTP request is and what an HTTP response is. We explored the request object and saw how Express gives us access to everything the client sent. Then we learned about headers and how they provide extra information about the request. We saw how the request body is used to send actual data. We learned how query parameters help us filter search and begins results. We also learned how route parameters allows us to identify specific resources like users and products. Finally, we explored HTTP status codes and understand why they're essential for building professional APIs. These concepts are the foundation of almost every backend application you will ever build. In the next video, we will organize our project into a professional folder structure by separating routers, controls, models, middleware, configurations, files, and other tools. This will make our code cleaner, easier to maintain, and much more scalable as our application grows. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.